Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa buddhang dhammang sanghang namassami. Today, there's some external noise, so we'll have a shorter discourse today. The important thing about the practice of our spiritual life is to find peacefulness and wisdom. So this is a very fundamental aspect of practicing spiritual life. If we practice something and we consider it spiritual, and if it leads to a deeper peacefulness and wisdom, then there is a value in this. However, if we are practicing something that does not lead to deeper peacefulness and wisdom, then probably it isn't correct. Just like we watch our breath, we watch our breath, and when we watch our breath, our mind is peaceful. As long as we can stay with the breath, our mind is peaceful. Why is the mind peaceful when we can stay with the breath? Simple, because mind is not engaged in too many ways. Mind is not engaged with these 6 sense objects too much. To see or to hear or to smell or anything. It's trying to be here right now, knowing the breath as it is. And then as soon as the mind goes away from the breath, goes back to these thoughts and feelings, or to the bodily feelings or to the mental feelings arising, whatever pleasant, unpleasant that arises. That gives rise to liking or disliking, and the mind is shaken again. So this is a simple practice to stay with the breath. But this is also a deep practice in a way that it gives rise to wisdom. The mind can be shaken in this manner. Mind can be made peaceful in this manner. So the fundamentals of spiritual life is right here. We can go to any number of places, religious places, or practice any number of religious ceremonies or rites and rituals, or so many things. But important thing is to verify whether it does lead to deeper peacefulness and right understanding, wisdom, right understanding of our lives or not. Whether it leads to these things or not. If it does, then it's working correctly. But then if all these things that we do, the ceremonies or the rites, rituals, or the things that we do, or so many things that we do, if we do this, but it doesn't really lead to the deeper peacefulness and wisdom, then we have to rethink it all over again. So any true spiritual practice, if it is true spiritual practice done correctly, then it should lead to something better, something good and noble. That good and noble is reflected with the peacefulness and also wisdom. So if you try to help other people, if you are trying to be kind or compassionate, if you are trying to be generous, if you are trying to follow certain moral standards, ethical standards, moral precepts in your life, so there's a value in those things. If you are kind, or if you are compassionate, if you are generous, if you are moral or ethical, then all these things ultimately lead to something inwards, something peaceful that makes your mind peaceful. If you help other people, you feel happy. But when you feel happy, when you investigate your heart, you can see there is a certain amount of peacefulness associated with this happiness. If you are being generous and kind, you can see there's a certain amount of peacefulness associated with this happiness, helping or being generous, or trying to be a good and moral and ethical person. When you are living by certain moral standards, avoiding things that are wrong, unwholesome, harmful for yourself, harmful for others, then that also leads to something peaceful. Your mind is full of, free from remorse, free from burden. You don't think, if you are a good moral person, you don't think, this one I didn't do wrong, this didn't do right, that one I didn't do right, that was wrong, this was wrong. So all these regrets or restlessness or doubts, they do not come. If you practice meditation, allowing your mind to be calm and peaceful, one-pointed, based on a suitable object, again your mind is peaceful. So there's certain indicators in your spiritual life, whether it is working or not working. But if you go and attend to somebody's place or a religious place or any place whatsoever, doesn't matter, somebody's house, wherever it is, wherever you go, you attend to certain things, you attend to a particular program or rites or rituals or anything. And then you see, okay, this isn't so peaceful as yet. This isn't so light. There's no lightness in my mind. For example, now there's a big ceremony, whatever, it is a social ceremony, it's a religious ceremony, whatever ceremony that is, you take it, you name it. Any big ceremony, and a lot of people gather there, and a lot of people take part in a lot of activities, running around, arranging things, being busy here, being busy there, and then getting tired physically. But more than physically, getting tired mentally. Oh, that was a big program. But it's good that it has ended. Now I have some peacefulness. It has come to an end. Which means when it was there, probably that peacefulness was lacking. So it is a time to contemplate. When we do these things, all these so many things, whether in the name of social ceremonies or religious ceremonies or spiritual ceremonies, do they lead to peacefulness and wisdom or do they not? It's a good place to contemplate like this. So when we say we should seek our own welfare, how do we seek our own welfare? We can do many things or we can believe many things. This leads to my welfare. That does not lead to my welfare. We can believe certain, for example, people believe seeing certain people, it leads to bad omen. Seeing certain other things or people leads to good omen. You get up in the morning, you saw a bird, and this is inauspicious. You saw another bird, this is auspicious. What is there auspicious or inauspicious about? The birds are just being birds. Simple. Their job is to fly around. When it's morning, their job is to fly around, they search for food. Some fellow landed up in front of your house, that's all. Some other time, some other birds will come. They don't bring us welfare. They don't bring us any harm or suffering. None of these things. So, because welfare comes from our own heart, it comes directly from our mind. If our mind has wisdom, a right understanding, to know things correctly, to be able to comprehend things correctly, and to conduct our lives correctly, that is the true welfare. Everything else is useless. If you don't know how to do your things correctly, how to manage your life, how to manage your things, how to manage with your relatives or your friends or your colleagues or other people, how to manage your own mind, how to manage your excessive greed or hatred. If you don't know, if you cannot do this, then what welfare do you seek from other people or other places? Your welfare lies right here. Are we able to reduce our unwholesome tendencies or not? Right here. When we say we seek our welfare, then we should look right here. Am I able to reduce my unwholesome tendencies, my own mental defilements, my wrong tendencies? Am I able to do that or not? The welfare is right here. If that happens, then the welfare is happening. If that doesn't happen, my mind is still very restless or full of unhappiness, full of suffering, whatever it is, burdened, then that's not the welfare. That's going in the wrong direction. So to seek your welfare is to understand the fundamentals of welfare. That what is our welfare, to understand it correctly. Welfare is peacefulness and wisdom, right understanding, understanding that leads to the ability to conduct ourselves rightly in all situations, in good situations and in bad situations. Because we have all kinds of situations in our lives. It's not that we only have good situations. We can have bad situations as well. But then, can we say bad situations will not lead to our welfare? Bad situations never lead to our welfare? Maybe they also do lead to our welfare because they also lead to understanding. When you have good things in life, I've never seen anyone complaining. I have good health, I have a lot of money, it's unusual. It's unusual that I have a lot of money. It's unusual I have good health. It's unusual all the things in my life working correctly. It's unusual. I've never heard anyone saying this. But when the health goes wrong, when the finances goes wrong, when the relationships go wrong, then people say it's unusual. If the good health was not unusual, then bad health is also not unusual. No? This is the body. Good health is what? When you are feeling okay in the body. Bad health is when you are not feeling okay in the same body. The body has to change, that's all. If good health is usual, bad health is also usual, not unusual. If gain is usual, loss is also equally it's usual, it's normal. It's not possible only to have gains and never to have loss. It's not possible only to have good health and never to have bad health. So our welfare is to see these things correctly, to comprehend these things correctly. If we are able to, then we are doing doing the right spiritual practice. But if it is not, if it is something that leads to more restlessness, more ignorance, more suffering, and more mental burden, then it's probably not working. You need to redo the whole thing. You need to rethink and take another approach. You must. So when we seek our welfare, we seek the right approach through wisdom. Right approach through wisdom. But then we can't just seek it out of isolation. We have to seek it from somewhere. We allow our mind to stay with certain things, certain wholesome practices. Wholesomeness is what? Wholesomeness is that leads to happiness associated with peacefulness. Not happiness or what we call conventional happiness, that is primarily associated with excitement. You get this, you're excited, and the next moment it goes away, you are sad. So that's not the happiness. That's just excitement. True happiness is associated with peacefulness that stays with you. Irrespective of the gain or loss, it stays with you because that's rooted in wisdom, that's rooted in right understanding, that things come and things go. That's their nature, just like this. But then it just cannot come out of isolation, that today, tomorrow you are happy. Today, tomorrow you are happy and peaceful. People come to us and say, please give us some blessings. We say, may you be happy and peaceful. But then when we say, may you be happy and peaceful, we also indicate something. We indicate that may you be able to create those conditions by yourself to be happy and peaceful. Don't just rely on the blessing and then do nothing. And that doesn't work. If you want these blessings to work, you also need to do something. Okay, I have got some blessings. Let's do something good so that these blessings are activated. Otherwise, I went to the temple, I went to the monastery, and the monk said, may you be happy and peaceful. Done. I don't need to do anything good about it. I don't need to follow anything good. I can just go around doing all kinds of nonsense and I will still be happy and peaceful. It doesn't work like this. So if you want to work, if you want to get the blessings and activate those blessings, something has to be done from your side. It's just like buying a phone. You can buy a new phone, an expensive phone, but unless the phone is connected to the internet, phone is switched on, phone is operated properly, it is not workable. It's just a piece of metal and some wires and some circuits and this and that, glass and all these things. But then it's no use to you. It's of no use. When you switch it on, connect it to the internet, set it up, and then start using all the functions, then that's useful for you. Similarly, the welfare is not like seeking from outside. It must be seeking from inside. Seeking through our right actions, whether it's our kindness, whether it's our generosity, whether it's our morality, whether it's our mental development, what we can call meditation. So seeking the benefit out of the right kind of actions, then the blessings are activated. Then the true welfare will follow you wherever you go. Lord Buddha says at the end of the Mahamangala Sutta, Discourse on Great Blessings, he says, if people were to follow all these blessings, there are several right actions that Lord Buddha has enumerated. People were to follow them, uphold them, practice them, make them perfect in their lives, then wherever they go, they are still undefeated because their mind is at ease. If the people praise them, they are not attached to the praise. If the people blame them, they are not attached to the blame. Their mind is at ease. So that's the right kind of victory. That's a real victory. Because that's a victory of by yourself over your mind. Other victories, you can defeat other people or you can win over a situation, but those things come and go. And then your mind is still disturbed after some time, still unhappy, still burdened. So the right kind of victory comes from conquering ourselves. When we have conquered ourselves, then we are at ease. So that's the right blessings. That's the right spiritual practice. So if we seek our welfare, we must seek it by our actions, by wholesome actions, the actions that lead to peacefulness, actions that lead to right understanding. Generosity, morality, meditation, these are the actions that leads to deeper peacefulness and wisdom. Also, that's the right spirituality. Anything else that you may be involved in, any other rites and rituals and ceremonies and this and that, still if your mind isn't peaceful because the generosity isn't present, kindness and compassion isn't present, the moral ethical component isn't present, the meditative component isn't present, then it will still lead to burden, heaviness of your heart. It will not lead to welfare. It can never lead to welfare. So when we seek our welfare, we must seek it in the correct way. To understand, this is where our welfare lies, in deeper peacefulness and right understanding, the wisdom, so that we are able to conduct all things correctly without getting afflicted by the good and bad. And if we are able to follow like this, if we are able to practice like this, then it will surely lead to our highest welfare of liberation. So may you be able to remember and recollect and put these things into practice. We offer this to you for your practice and contemplation, and we conclude here today. And if anybody has any questions, you are free to ask.
There are some other intentions that come along.
So this, you have to organize certain things beyond your control. For example, all your family members are going for a function. They are taking you with you. Okay, you have to go. You just can't say, I will not go. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes it's not even good to say like this. So sometimes you have to manage that, okay, if I'm not able to get up at 6 o'clock, maybe 6:30, maybe 7, but I would still do for some time. So keeping that intention, whenever I'm able to get up at 6 o'clock, okay. Whenever I'm not able to, for some reason I have to sleep very late for some important things, urgent things, then okay. And then some other times we spend time, or rather we waste time, sleep late, get up late. So those times you have to be mindful. If I sleep late, I get up late. If I waste time like this, then I will sleep late, then I will get up late. So therefore, better. So you have to have some mental determination. And then initially when you have such determination, mostly it will not work. Yeah? And it's also, I'm telling you. But if you keep the determination going repeatedly, it will work. Nothing becomes perfect at the beginning. But if you are working on this, if you are diligently working, it will also work at a later time. So you have to keep your determination. You have a question?
What exactly death happens, and why should this happen if this kind of attachment we both have? Why should he leave me and go? But where did he go now?
Then I don't know. If it was so easy to know, that okay, this person has been born there, this person, it's beyond the ability of most of the people. Okay, so it is. But anyways, certain things are fundamental. Okay, death is one of them. Okay, if Lord Buddha says, how long you live, no certainty. You will die for sure. So death is more certain than being alive, actually. So once a monk said, how do I contemplate? Death is coming, death may happen next moment. He said, the in-breath you take. As you take the in-breath, before out-breath comes out, you may die. So one should contemplate death like this. So death can happen any moment, basically. Death can happen. Or maybe you are taking the in-breath, out-breath comes, and that may be the last out-breath. And then we don't take the in-breath, means we are dead. So death, we can't do anything. Because everybody dies. That's universal. That's no way we can stop anybody from dying. And it's actually not wise to feel sad about death. In fact, if you really want to feel sad about somebody's death, better to feel sad, when that person was born. That's the time people should feel very sad and upset, when somebody is born. Why? Because the fact that somebody is born, surely he will die. Being born, it is impossible to avoid death. It is impossible. It's like you jump into the water and then say, my body will not get wet. It's not possible. No? Similarly, being born and then expecting not to die is like this. That's not going to happen. So if you say somebody is born, then you should really contemplate, this fellow is born now. He will surely die. We don't think like this because we have no wisdom. We have no wisdom. That's why we say, oh, somebody is born. But that's where the death starts. That's where the decay starts. 1 day and 2 days. We say that person died after 100 years. But it's 1 day it started that day itself. That 100-year didn't get completed suddenly. No, it started right there from the birth itself. So that's the point. So being born, it's impossible that people will not die, beings will not die. It's impossible. What we can do is, there are certain fundamental things. If your brother taught you anything good, to practice meditation, to develop more mindfulness, or to develop wisdom, or to cultivate anything good and wholesome, try to keep up those things.
Actually, I am living through his teachings.
So, sorry?
I am living through his teachings of the giving nature. Many things he taught me.
Yeah. So that whatever good things you have learned from your brother, try to follow those things. That's the right way of honoring someone. If you learn something good from someone, follow those things. That's the right way. And another thing that's called Nyati Dhamma. Nyati Dhamma means the duty of the relatives. Duty of the relatives, Lord Buddha has suggested. When our relatives are alive with us, we take care of them. We try to take care of them. When they pass away, it is not possible to give something physically to them. It is not. But Lord Buddha says you can still give them something. That's when you do anything good and wholesome. When you do anything good and wholesome, for example, many people, they offer dana. And then, or practice morality, practice meditation. So whatever the good they do, doing those good things, that power of that wholesomeness, that wholesome intentions that they generate to do anything good, that they share mentally with their departed relatives. That's what Lord Buddha says, Nyati Dhamma, duty of the relatives. That's your duty. You can still do that as a mark of respect or gratitude towards your brother. Practicing anything good, practicing generosity, with the giving dana, practicing meditation, following the precepts, and continue to share the merits in the name of your brother. That you can still do. So these are the two things you can do right now. Following whatever you have learned, and sharing the merits. That's all. Other things, it's of no use talking because nothing's going to change anything else. But these two things have value, so you can do them. Conclude then with the chanting of metta. Sukhi bhaveyang ne dukho ahang nichang ahang viya itacha me sukhi hunto majjata tachaverino imani gamma ketam hi sattahantu sukhi sada tato parancha rajyesu chakkavale sujantanu sadhu sadhu sadhu. So we'll meet again next Sunday, same time at 6 o'clock.